We've been talking with Robert Chapman, the international forecaster, and what we're going to be talking about now is a little bit about this commercial. $150 billion commercial up for refinance. 63%, you say, won't qualify due to 40 and a 30% drop in value. You're saying commercial properties, a lot of them have dropped 70%, Mr. Chapman?
No, they will, but they're down about 40, so they get 30 to go. And there's no financing. The banks won't lend. The banks are going to get the properties back, and they're going to carry them on the books. And the loans will probably be sold to the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve will make the U.S. taxpayer pay for it.
Record foreclosures, one of every 355 houses.
Is the banks and Wall Street and the insurance companies. And it's the heck with everybody else.
One in every 355 households had foreclosures. Record foreclosures, 360,149 last month. Now, how can the president, how can these people look at America as with a straight face and say, we're out of the woods?
Well, I don't know what woods he's in, but I don't think so. And he better bring a flashlight with him. He's going to be there a long time. Green shoots? No. Poison ivy? Yes. Well, one thing I will say, he didn't create the problem. It was the bureaucrats in the previous two administrations. And now we have a seamless change when Mr. Obama went into office. And we had Team A come in for Team B. And what is the similarity? The similarity is the thought process. They all belong to the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderberger Group, the Group of 30, the Group of 300, you name it. They're all together. And what do they want? They all want world government. So it doesn't matter who becomes president. He doesn't have anything to say about anything. It's these crews of groups of people who all coordinate together. There's no difference between Team A and Team B. They want world government. And that's why they've destroyed the world financial system. That's why we're going through what we're going through. It was done deliberately in order to make people be forced to accept world government. And that's what this is all about.
So if you voted for Obama for change, thinking that it would be different, you're voting for Tweedledum or Tweedledummer. There is not a hill's worth of difference. They're both working for the same people, and they're both being financed by the same people. Now, Asia, China, and Japan looks like they're coming out of it. They have had some new growth there. Comments on Asia, the Asian markets. Any comments on that? You write about that in the international
China section today. I did a real once-over, a couple of pages on China. First of all, China just poured $1.9 trillion into their economy since February. Stock market went up 84% because a good part of the money went in there. Housing, the retail residential prices have gone crazy. And so the money, which was supposed to be pointed toward creating jobs, went into financial speculation, just like in America. And consequently, sure, they had a little boom, but the non-contract players aren't even accounted in unemployment, and the hardcore unemployment is 30 million, and if you put all of the people from the countryside, we'll call them, they have a name for it, but I can't remember, you're looking at 50 million or more. Now, exports are down 40%. They're telling us that manufacturing is up 8.5% to 9% again. They're lying, and I can prove it. This last quarter they had a negative GDP. But they're a communist, command economy, and they can do anything they want because it's a dictatorial government. Now, what they're deathly afraid of is massive unemployment, maybe 100 million people. And then they've got revolution on their hands. China is not in a good position. And you saw the riots just recently in the western provinces. And Japan has got their set of problems, and they're a giant as well. They've got to export. Well, there's nobody to export to. Unless everything becomes a clunker, and we throw our refrigerator out the front door, and our stove, and our television. The whole thing's crazy. They're not going going to recover. This is propaganda. And if you're in the stock market, and it's about 9,300 right now, get out. It's going to go down because the money's going to run out.
The other thing you talk about is not only the stock market, but life insurance policies, annuities. Those are two other places you better be looking if you can get cash out, aren't they?
They are, because if they're not a mutual company, they're investing in the stock market. Mutual companies have to go into the bond market, and that'll be safer, and it'll retain more value if we have a drop in the stock market in the United States. But annuities are almost all in stocks, and most life policies are. And if you still need a policy, get a level term policy, 10 years, 15, 20, whatever you need. And it's pure insurance. And that's where you should be, and get that money out and put it in gold and silver related assets.
Now, you mentioned very shortly, just a little brief blurb, that Monsanto is increasing by 42% their genetically modified seeds. Well, a lot of us don't like genetically modified products anyway, but if they're doing the genetically modified seeds and a 42% increase, doesn't that portend a major increase in food prices coming and a hyperinflation being fueled by the greed of Monsanto?
Yes. That's why I put it in there. That's why I wrote it.
We're talking, I mean, it was just like one little line in there. That's why you have to read the International Forecaster very carefully. 42% increase in genetically modified seeds, and the reasoning is that they're producing so much more crops with it. These people, they come up with the craziest things, don't they?
They certainly do.
Now, UBS is giving out the names of 4,450 Swiss bank account holders. Is that going to strike terror in the hearts and minds of a lot of people in the United States? Some of the people who've been trying to hide their money? That's got to have a lot of people nervous, doesn't it?
Well, there are some people that have done that, and I'm sure that they are. The people who run the government, they believe that they allowed you to create wealth, and that wealth really belongs to them. And so they want to control it, and they want to see it where they can control it.
They want to control every aspect of our life, everything that we're doing. Now, one of the key things that you said, and we'll talk about this when we get back, is that the markets are not responding to reality. For somebody who's traded for over 50 years, and you're looking at the markets today, and you're saying there is no reality, the markets are a fiction. We'll talk about that when we get back with Mr. Robert Chapman, the International Forecaster.